We are live and direct from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. I present to you your top stories this evening. Tiger Brands has announced a voluntary recall of its Benny beef and chicken flavoured stock cubes due to inaccurate labelling on the packaging.
Decisive call was made to urgently intervene and address the tipping challenges that were laid bare in public during this visit.
7 mayors from municipalities in the Free State have been removed from their positions. A teenage suspect arrested in connection with the attack of 3 DA members of Parliament in Philippi and Cape Town has made an appearance in the... It's primetime action right here on Prime News on SABC 3. A very warm welcome to you. My name is Beki Mutumomolete and I'll be guiding you through the top stories that are shaping global events in our world today. Let's take a closer look. Tiger Brands has announced a voluntary recall of its Benny beef and chicken flavoured stock cubes due to inaccurate labelling on the packaging. In a statement, the company says the affected cubes include the 12, 24 and 48 pack sizes manufactured by a third-party supplier with an expiry date of 31 July 2027. It says after consultation with the National Consumer Commission, it has decided to initiate the precautionary voluntary recall. According to the company, it has not received any consumer complaints about the affected products. It says the decision is in line with its commitment to the highest quality standards. The food manufacturer says it's working with its retail and wholesale customers to remove all the impacted goods from store shelves. Our next story takes us to the Free State province where 7 mayors have been removed from their positions. The affected municipalities are Mafube, Moqhaka, Litsemeng, Nketwana, Nala, Masilonyana and Lejwele Putswa. The ANC says its decision follows a robust discussion during the Provincial Executive Committee meeting. It cited, amongst others, poor leadership and persistent audit disclaimers for its decision.
Allegations of corruption, poor governance and irregular expenditure from the Auditor General's report forced the ANC to act decisively in affected municipalities. The party says it extensively examined the tasks of strengthening accountability, clean governance and acceleration of service delivery, and that there were objectives which needed to be realized. The ANCPC conducted a roadshow over the last 2 months and says its observations were complemented by the expose following a visit to the province by the Joint Portfolio Committee on Local Government.
A decisive call was made to urgently intervene and address the tipping challenges that were laid bare in public during this visit. With time like a frog in a boiling water, we realized late that the ground is shifting, and as such, a decisive, audacious, and courageous leadership needs to be invoked.
The party says more municipalities are likely to be affected.
There will be a pronouncement by the Provincial Working Committee as a consequence of the directive from the PEC for the implementation of that decision of redeployment of comrades who are affected in these municipalities.
Aphumelele Mhlalane, SABC News, Bloemfontein.
A teen suspect arrested in connection with the attack on 3 DA members of Parliament in Philippi and Cape Town has made an appearance in the Athlone Magistrates Court for a preliminary inquiry. This is to establish whether he is a juvenile offender. Police have confirmed that they have arrested 2 suspects, while a third is still being sought.
The attack on Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee chairperson Ian Cameron and his 2 colleagues Nicholas Gotzel and Lisa Marie Schikkeling followed their oversight visit to the SAPS training centre in Philippi on Tuesday. Cameron and Gotzel were both injured when their car came under attack by suspects using bricks. An 18-year-old suspect who was shot during the alleged attempted hijacking is under police guard in hospital. The teen who appeared in court for the inquiry was arrested in Brown's Farm in Philippi on Tuesday by violent crime detectives.
The MPA can confirm that a 16-year-old appeared at the Athlone Magistrate Court charged with attempted robbery with aggravating circumstances. His co-accused, Lisole Tuklas, 18 years old, appeared in absentia as he is in hospital. He has been notified of the postponement date and may appear in court as soon as he is discharged. More charges are likely to be added as the investigation continues.
The case has been postponed until the 28th of August for bail information. Vanessa Puna, SABC News, Cape Town.
National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemula says he does not want to comment further on the looming court battle between himself and the suspended head of crime detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya. Sibiya filed papers on Tuesday at the High Court in Pretoria, accusing Masemula of violating the SABC disciplinary rules by forcing him to stay at home pending an investigation. Masemula was speaking on the sidelines of the destruction of drugs worth more than 400 million in Gauteng.
The National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemula says drugs remains a countrywide problem, but the popular destination remains Gauteng.
Well, they come via land ports, they also come via our international airports, and to an extent, majority also come through the seaports, which all our harbors in this country. So, and get processed in different places, but Gauteng seems to be the hub.
So you recall that Masemula instructed Sibiya to stay at home after the allegations by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, implicating Sibiya in what can be described as a capture of sorts in the South African Police Service. Now we've also heard that the Madlanga inquiry, named after retired Constitutional Court Judge Mbuyiseli Madlanga, which was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa to probe Mkhwanazi's allegations, that will begin on the 1st of September in Pretoria. The hearings will be open to the public at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College. That will take place over the next 6 months. And Masemula says he's willing to appear if he is called.
On the issue of the commission, yes, the commission is, you heard that it's going to start soon, and we'll wait the call. Probably we are called and we will go.
Criselda Lewis, SABC News in Gauteng.
In money matters, the Constitutional Court has reserved judgment in the rand rigging case between the Competition Commission and several banks accused of manipulating the currency. The case stems from alleged conduct between 2007 and 2013 by 28 local and international banks accused of colluding to coordinate rand-dollar trading in chat rooms.
In what was supposed to be a sitting for 4 days, the Constitutional Court concluded proceedings a day earlier. The Competition Commission alleges that a number of banks were involved in a single overarching conspiracy to price fix the rand-dollar pair. Head of cartels at the Commission, Makgale Mohlala, says the priority is the issue of jurisdiction, saying if conduct impacts the local economy, then the regulators must act. He's confident that the court will rule in their favor.
We made our submissions on Tuesday. The banks responded to our submissions on Wednesday. So today it was our reply. And our case is now closed.
Analyst Owen Nkomo, CEO at Nkomo Wealth Group, laments the complexity of the case, saying the banks may walk free.
Look, I think that the banks are going to walk. It's a complicated case. It's very technical as well. Trading itself is a very technical issue. And I believe that the people that are assessing this case don't have enough experience, in my humble view, to make definitive decisions about the evidence that they have.
Judgment by the Constitutional Court is reserved. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Welcome back. Members of Parliament's Social Cluster have cautioned against any forceful restriction of foreign nationals to health facilities and schools. The chairpersons of the Health and Basic Education Portfolio Committees, as well as the Select Committee on Education, Sciences and Creative Industries, briefed the media and industry stakeholders in Parliament. Amongst others, they addressed threats by Operation Dudula to target foreign learners, particularly those who do not have legal identification documents.
Operation Dudula has threatened that foreign learners with no identity documents will not be allowed to enter schools next year. But the chairpersons responsible for the social cluster have warned that no disruption will be tolerated, especially the targeting of foreign learners.
We therefore condemned with the utmost contempt those forms of threats and actions. If you are identifying yourselves as a civil organization, you must be able to understand your footing so that you do not violate the rights that have been enshrined in the Constitution.
Another concern raised involves 2 out of the 8 regulations of the Bella Act that have recently been gazetted. The Department of Basic Education has missed a June deadline to have all regulations published.
The regulations refer to considering the demographics and education needs of the surrounding community. In the Act, however, in the Act, the responsibility for admission policy is actually given to the head of department.
The other regulation that was published involves the implementation of Grade R, which is compulsory in terms of the Act. Zelene Merrington, SABC News, Parliament.
Moving on to Minister of Justice Mamoluko Kubai says she has instructed the NPA to classify high-profile cases to strengthen the security measures for prosecutors. Kubai conducted an oversight visit at the New Brighton Magistrates Court in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. The aim of the visit was to engage stakeholders and to ensure that the courts have sufficient resources to deliver a quality justice system.
Brown was shot and killed while sitting in a vehicle outside her home in Young Park in Gqeberha. She was the second prosecutor to be killed in the province this year after Elona Sombulula was gunned down in Engcobo.
We have agreed at the beginning of this week. I was at the NPA retreat, which I emphasized the need for the DPPs in the provinces to do an assessment of cases that relates to which are being processed by prosecutors, that we can classify them as high profile.
During her oversight visit to the court, Kubai expressed concerns about the decaying infrastructure and lack of security.
It is very clear that there is huge challenges in this court. One, starting from infrastructure, issues of security, but support for all that work here. And one of my challenges, I say, is that there are things that you will categorize them as basic that should be done, that management should be able to account for.
No one has been arrested yet in connection with the murder of Brown and Sombulula or the recent attempted murder of the prosecutor in Gqeberha. Dombozuko Palindulu, SABC News, Gqeberha.
In the halls of power, Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie has rejected the South African Human Rights Commission's finding of prima facie hate speech against him. The finding relates to historical social media posts that have been flagged as offensive. McKenzie says the decision is defamatory and politically motivated. He also accuses the commission of being politicized and of failing to follow due process.
The Human Rights Commission has gone to the media with all the letters. They never wrote to me. My spokesperson. Every statement I take out, the spokesperson's number is there. I belong to a party that has a secretary general. I've got a private secretary. I've got a secretary in my office. But they were playing politics. They were going to the media with statements, with letters that they wrote to me. I never received those letters. We found that letter 4 days from a PA, from one person that works at the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. The humiliation of a junior worker coming with a letter that was meant for me.
Members of the pro-Palestinian boycott, disinvest and sanctions movement and the South Africa-Palestine movement have called on the government, especially the Department of Trade and Industry, to stop the export of coal from South Africa to Israel. They protested outside the Trade and Industry offices in Durban.
Cannot take Israel to the ICJ to hold them accountable for genocide, yet at the same time we are also then selling coal to Israel. So we are saying to DTIC, which has oversight over trade matters, to ensure that no South African company, Glencore and a whole range of other South African companies that are linked to the selling of coal, that coal which leaves the Richards Bay coal terminal from here in KZN. We want the DTIC to stop that.
Thank you for staying with us. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the recent tariff actions by the United States have highlighted the need to diversify export markets. Ramaphosa is taking part in the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development Summit in Yokohama. Japan is one of the major investors in the South African economy, with 270 Japanese companies creating 200,000 local jobs.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has made it clear that Africa is not seeking aid. It wants partners that understand value co-creation, sustainable development and mutual industrialization.
South Africa seeks to deepen inter-Africa trade while becoming a continental industrial platform from which Japanese and other global firms can expand and export into our continent. We're actively working with the AFCFTA Secretariat to finalize value chain protocols in automotive, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals and textiles.
Africa considers Japan as a key pillar on its journey for reindustrialization. South Africa also says it's on a path to revolutionize the energy sector and pursuits of low carbon and climate resilient development. A number of key players are part of the proceedings in Yokohama. Japan wants to strengthen its ties with Africa on innovations that could help the continent's healthcare system.
I'm thrilled to be back in Japan for the week that TCAD is being hosted, and we talked about how the Prime Minister is going, and we'll meet with a great number of African countries, and we talked about the work we've done together and the key global health activities.
Kylie Kumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The skies are a forecast of pleasant change, and it may seem that the warmer days are upon us. Let's get confirmation from our weather team. They have the details coming up next.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. Clear skies over the central as well as the northeastern parts of the country, with a cold front approaching. Isolated showers and rain in places over the western and southern parts of the Western Cape. It will be partly cloudy in places over the southern and southeastern parts of the country. Now tomorrow, starting off with early morning fog patches over the western, southern interior and along that eastern escarpment, where isolated showers and rain are expected along the coastal regions of KwaZulu-Natal, and then again another band over the western and southern parts of the Western Cape. It will remain clear through the central as well as the northeastern parts. South African Weather Service for tomorrow, warning of high fire danger conditions over our northeastern provinces, and that is where runaway fault fires are possible, damaging waves possible along the southwestern and southern coastal regions, possibly leading to difficulty in navigation at sea. Overnight temperatures seeing Vryburg down to 4 degrees 11 in Johannesburg and Pretoria, Cape Town down to 13, 1 degree as a minimum in Sutherland, peaking tomorrow at 12. It will be a cool day in Graafrenet with 22, 25 in Pietermaritzburg, a hot day forecast for Musina with 34, Lephalale a maximum of 32. And then on to Saturday, cool and warm conditions over the central regions where it will be fine, but hot to very hot conditions over the northeastern parts. It will be partly cloudy over the western and southwestern parts of the country, with isolated showers and rain in places. Cold to very cold conditions expected in that region over KwaZulu-Natal on Sunday, seeing isolated showers and rain, and then again along the southwestern coastline and the adjacent interior. That's your weather. Good night.
As the news cycle reaches its crescendo, we thank you for tuning in. Please note that there is no Prime News tomorrow due to a sporting fixture. We will see you next week with more analysis and more of the stories that resonate. Until then, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay driven and stay ahead. Good night.